I mean, y'all can speak if y'all want to speak, because I still gotta wait for him to come on. So well, what are y'all doing tomorrow? Are you gonna put it? Are you gonna put it on the gram? Put it on the gram.
What we put on the gram?
Oh, what you trying to put on the gram? You let me know this shit. You trying to put this ass you pregnant? You cannot put no ass on the gram.
Never mind.
What up? What up? What up, everybody?
I've seen it before.
What, pregnant ass on the gram? No, don't do that. Just
Yeah.
giving it time to load up. Just getting it time to load up real quick. My bad, I'm 5 minutes late. You know what I mean? Had to eat. I had to eat. Much love, much love. Tonight I put you on the camera. My bad. I usually put my app. I always flip it. I always flip it. Look, no real shit though. Real shit though. I always flip it. I always show my apples. Look, we got a good special guest tonight. Yo, he's in the room. I'm gonna. All right, let me go. I'm gonna do this now for real. What you call it? I'm letting it know. What we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna bring somebody in. He's been in the poly. We actually did one. He's one of the first people we done an interview with when we first started shit. So he was like on the motherfucking head. That was the first person I was thinking of. Very educational. He knows his shit. He knows what he does. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in. He lives a mono poly lifestyle. Hold on. Are y'all gonna do squats right there? It just threw me off. Let me bring him in real quick. Ivys are in the building and they are fucking with me. What up, Trent? What up?
Hey, what up, big homie?
What's good with you? I want to make sure I get everything right. Let me angle this.
Yeah.
Oh, you freezing up on us? Oh, there you go.
Shit.
How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm good, fam. How you?
Making it. You know what I mean? How's this quarantine treating you?
Hey, man, you know I got the little quarantine scruff going on. But other than that, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving to spend time with the family and I don't have to drive into work. I'm working from home all the damn time. Like, this is love for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, hey, we still gotta go to work. So you know what I mean? It's just been different. I've been needing my gym, balance my sanity.
Yeah, I
But
feel you.
I thank you, bro. I thank you so much for joining me. You know, I've been trying to bring the different types of dynamics, the different types of poly, you know, to everybody. I have so many monogamous followers. I have a few of some poly followers, but a lot of people misconcepted that it's just thruples. It's just
Yeah.
triads.
Yeah.
And I fall in that category, but I hate it because when I do my interviews, I always try to give them the description of it's more than just triads. It's more than a male with two women. It's more than that. So I greatly said, look, they're already asking, what is monopoly? Let's get into it. Hey, nice family, I'm bringing you next most definitely, so we're going to do that too. But let's get into it. Go ahead, introduce yourself and speak about how you poly.
So, all right, my name is Jerome Triplin. For those who don't know, I have a podcast. We got to go ahead and we'll start. We're actually going to release season 2 pretty soon. It's a podcast called Lust, Lies, and Libido. We talk about, my co-host is actually monogamous. So we a lot of times talk about monogamous shit, poly shit, and kinky shit because, kinky as well. But I own a sex toy retail store called Bell's Toy Chest. So we do that shit. We do events. I do coaching, and I'm also in school. I'm a school therapist, so I'm in school to become a licensed marriage and family therapist, specializing in sex therapy, working with people of color, non-monogamous folks, and kinky folks.
Let them know, man of many traits right there. Man of many traits.
It's a lot of shit popping off, man. So
yeah. I'll say that we were one of the first ones. I mean, you were one of the first ones that we jumped on the shows with. I was like, yeah, I knew you knew your stuff. You know what I mean? And and that's why when you had presented the solo poly, that was like one of the first. The mono poly, that was like one of the first times we ever heard it. And it's always stuck in my head. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So now to get to talk about it, it's gonna be a learning thing for me. So you know what I mean? So I'm gonna ask
Absolutely.
and so
that's the cool thing about it, Alex, is like, people, like you said, there's a misconception of what poly is. And one of the biggest things I get pissed off about, honestly, is that they use poly as a catch-all for non-monogamy, when it's actually non-monogamy is the catch-all, and poly falls under that umbrella. So a lot of times people start talking about poly relationships, but they may be talking about swinging, they may be talking about, cuckolding, they may be talking about all different types of non-monogamous relationships and just labeling it as poly, and it's not really poly. Um, but when it comes to uh, how you poly, everybody can poly different.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm polyamorous, but my wife is monogamous. So
Yeah.
what that means is, I date other people, but me and her, I'm the only relationship with her. So, it's one of those things that it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of, diving into different things, but we have to constantly talk about things. We have to
Yeah.
constantly bring shit up. A lot of times you may think you talked about some things, or you may have thought you covered a lot of bases, that then a scenario happened. You're like, damn, we ain't talking about this one, huh? Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
talk about that shit. So a lot of times, man, it's really trying to figure out how to make sure that the way you love is okay with your partner, and the way your partner loves is okay. So, like I talked to a brother, and I have a group here that we're kind of building a community of poly and kinky people here in the Charlotte area. And so, one of the brothers I was talking to, his old lady, she's monogamous, and she doesn't want to be poly. She don't like want to date, but he was trying to convince her to be poly, trying to. And I was like, nah, dude, don't. That's not cool. Like, that may not be her thing, and it's okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to be poly for you to be poly. That's not how that works
And that's what a lot of people think. Like, you got to actually kind of convince and force them and put them in a position that's not really what you should do at all.
at
Uh,
all.
but how would you suggest, like, in a sense like that, since knowing that their mindset is to still stick with monogamous, but they want to keep the relationship being like to find themselves in the same situation that you're in. Like what?
So in that situation, I think what the first thing you have to do is you have to be honest with your partner. You have to be honest with yourself first. Be honest with yourself first, and then be honest with your partner. There's a lot of times you're gonna have to be able to talk about certain things, and try to figure out how to navigate what works for you and your partner. If you're talking about opening up your relationship, and either partner deciding to be non-monogamous. So if that's your thing, first and foremost, talk about what that looks like.
Yeah.
How will that impact the two of you? Are you talking about, is it going to be romantic? Is it going to be just sexual? Really talk about all of the nuts and bolts, as much as you can think of. Any questions you can think of, go ahead and put it on the table. Are we going to do sleepovers? Is it going to be, trips and celebration holidays? So try to figure all of that shit out. I mean, you're not gonna know all of it, but the best you can do to go ahead and start talking about these things, the better it will be for your relationship. Because a lot of times you can kind of start touching on some fears you may have, and start establishing maybe some rules or some boundaries and some agreements, so that way you guys can figure out how to work.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had to do. It was a lot of talking, man. It was like, yo, what does this look like? Do you want to date other people? I don't, you don't have to. If you do, I'm not gonna feel some type of way. And so it takes a lot of that communication, and honesty and transparency. You got to be real transparent.
With all the emotion, right? Did it take a lot of reassurance throughout? Does it still take
Oh,
reassurance
it
to
still
this
takes
point?
reassurance.
I would believe.
Still
And
takes reassurance.
what do
It's
you
I
think
mean,
the
because
what do you think the main challenge was? Because I know a lot of people, like, I just seen a question about fairness. Let me go back. It was how does it work? They said where is it? How is that
how
a
does that work?
fair relationship? Does it cause problems? I would
So here's the thing: every relationship, you're gonna have your hurdles. There's no perfect relationship. I don't care if you do two mono people, you got two poly people. You're gonna have certain things that's gonna come up in your relationship. Certain things you're gonna have to constantly renegotiate and be flexible on. If you're rigid, first and foremost, if you're rigid, even in a mono structure, you're gonna hit roadblocks and hurdles and stumble.
yeah, most
You know,
definitely.
And it's really going to happen in a non-monogamous relationship, especially if you're polyamorous, um, because it's so much to it that's constantly moving, it's constantly changing. So when you're talking about fairness, I guess in a sense, the thing to be fair about is to be fair about everybody's emotions. Be fair to your partner's emotions, and provide a safe space to allow that to happen. So you may be pissed off because I got a date. Then don't let me just be like, fuck that shit. You be all right. No, okay, let's talk about it. What's up?
Yeah.
But then that other partner also has to be vulnerable to go ahead and say, okay, this is what's going on. This is what I'm feeling, you know, and this is what is drumming up. So it's a lot of work that both partners are going to have to do, and more so in a mono poly relationship. You
Yeah.
have to do so much motherfucking work, bro. When I tell you, it's a lot of motherfucking work.
I can imagine. I can imagine because even like that's the thing. Like my situation, we converted from the triad being all together to a poly V, basically. You know what I mean? Where
Mm-hmm.
Slim Echelon's not romantically involved with each other, but we still were a union. We're still with each other. We do have our personal fun, behind that, but they took the romantic part because it weighed a lot. I think a lot of people they take away, even though the women could be bisexual, whatever. It does that qualifies it for just sexually they could connect with each other. But at the end of the day, two relationships, can you maintain two relationships? Can you make
Right,
sure you're meeting every aspect on two relationships? That's different. Bisexual people, they instantly programmed to build and maintain two relationships. So I
right,
believe, I believe just in that situation, we deal with a lot. We still have communication, the things that we have to talk about here. So I could just let alone on someone being monogamous in their mind saying, "Hey, I don't want that, but I love you enough to let you be who you are truly, love you
right,
unconditional, and let you live how you want to live and still be here for you." But I
right.
know it's gonna still take the reassurance because emotionally, we're human. It's going, it's basically gonna happen. So I
Yep.
was just interested in that, like how it all began, how it actually like things, the challenges you go. Now on yours, I know like it'll be kind of would you still consider it like a metamour situation to where
Yeah.
it would be right? Yeah. So
Yeah. It's still
has she ever met like the other people she had they been to the house and everything?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we've had scenarios where she's met her metas, which would be considered my paramours. So but we don't. When we were new to it, when I first started, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I really would love a kitchen table poly dynamic. Everybody just being able to sit down at the table. It would be a V because being that she's monogamous, she's not gonna be involved, and then
Mm-hmm.
she's also not bisexual or biromantic. So it was, so that's not on the table. So it would be a V, and I was like, yo, I was gung ho. We gonna work. Everybody gonna be cool. You know, it- like I had all these
Getting
ideas in
it,
my head. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
I
oh, this
see
shit's
it.
about to pop. And then we started doing it, and it's like, no, no, that shit ain't gonna work because everybody don't flow like that. Everybody ain't gonna click like that. You
Yeah.
know, just because both of y'all like me, don't mean y'all gonna like each other.
Facts.
You know,
Facts.
um, and I had to have that epiphany. I had to come to that realization, like, yeah, this is not gonna work that way. It looks good on TV. It shit sounds dope on TV, but
It
in
does.
reality, nah. And so we had to adjust our dynamic in that way, and I had to adjust my expectations. I had to change how I looked at things and how I approached it, and had to be okay with it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
couldn't I couldn't just sit there in this fantasy land thinking that everybody was gonna be cool and shit, and then when it didn't pan out that way, you know, just kind of be bummed about it. I had to figure out, okay, let me make sure I'm able to give what I need to give in both of my relationships equally and make sure nobody's slighted.
Yeah.
And then also be fair to them, back to that fairness thing, and understand that they don't have to like each other. They don't have to, as long as they respect each other, it's cool. Y'all
Mhm.
ain't gotta, go, go to the movies together and hang out and things like that, talk on the phone. I would like it to be cool, but this is not necessary.
Yeah, I mean, because it's just going to be like, as long as the understanding is there, I think communication is mainly key in these situations. Know what you're a part of, knowing what it's going to be really at the end of the day. I love how one I had the Taylor family on here, And he was like, you know, when it comes to my partners, I focus on equity. You know what I mean? One might not need as much as the other one. So, you know, I just balance it with equity. So like that, I got to know my partners. And like that, it makes it a little bit easier for me. Hold on, someone asked a question. Oh, you better watch my apples. I'm sorry. Look, I do that all the time. Somebody just asked some. Yo, anybody that has a question, it makes it easier for me if you put it in the box down there to actually put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because one of the brothers was like he's in breaking on mono poly, and what I would definitely tell him, like you said, communication and transparency. You know, a lot of times you're not gonna know what to communicate,
Yeah.
and you know, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of times people be like, "Yo, you got to communicate in relationships." Sometimes you're not gonna know the motherfucking question to ask. You know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be some shit that you thought it was cool on, and it's gonna come up. The key is to allow space to kind of figure it out. You know, don't automatically be like, "Yo, you know what this is? Like, why you tripping?" Like, all right, that ain't gonna work, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know it ain't gonna work.
It ain't. And people expect that though. Like you know, like you should have known. Like no, man, that is a true fact right there. That is true. I have a question. Have you ever how many relationships outside of your marriage have you been with? How many other people has it been like a transition? How have
I've
they taken it? What was the reasons you broke it off with them because they were getting too attached? Or I know sometimes with some couples they said that the partner on the outside was trying to convince them to leave. You know what I mean? To leave their main primary situation. Have you ever dealt with that?
Nah, I've never dealt with that, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I'm an empath, so I'm really big on energy. That's like my shit. So I'm very picky because, like, it's so funny. You know, between me and my wife and my girlfriend and whatever, like, they all know I'm an emotional fuck. So I'm not
Yeah.
one of these people that can just fucking just fuck with people. But you know, I've dated, but I know enough through people's energy to be like, this is not a good fit for me. This is not a good match for me. And being that I love to communicate, I love to talk. There's a lot of questions and talking and and communication that has to happen before we even get to the point where you my girlfriend, or you my new partner, or you my new para. Like, there's so much that we need to talk about. You know, we need to talk about love languages. We need to talk about apology languages. You know, I'm kinky. So, you know what I mean? We got to talk about Dom sub dynamics. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We got to talk about, it's like, you know, your limits, your hard limits. So it's a lot of communication. So I've never come across someone who's like, yo, you need to leave your wife. Like, because I would have weeded that shit out at the very front. Like, please understand, I am not looking to get with you because there's something going on with me and my wife. Like, you are not
Yeah.
a replacement. Like, please understand, we good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Like
this shit don't work out, I'm good.
this is structure. So do you do since you do have the outside partner and everything, do you do the veto kind of thing, the hierarchy system to where it's secondary, you keep everything kind of balanced?
I do my best to keep it balanced. I mean, because for me, it becomes toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not to say that veto arrangements are inherently toxic. It's just that there's a propensity. To me, it's about mutual respect and communication.
Facts.
So, you know, I'm really big, being that I'm also a dominant, I'm really big on trust. And so for me, we need to have a relationship that's built, that has a solid foundation on trust. So that way you're not sitting here questioning if I bring somebody and then y'all don't click, you know, thinking that this person is going to then try to undermine our relationship. You know, hopefully you trust me enough to know that I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to bring anybody that's going to tear down what we have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to have somebody add to. If you're not going to be
Yeah.
a value add, then there's no point in doing this. And so, even though that's the case, it's not that easy all the time, you know. And so that's why I said it takes a lot of communication, and it takes a lot of people, you know, being able to kind of figure out, what do you like,
Yeah.
who are you? Do you even know who you are? What are your traumas? You know,
Yeah.
and we have those conversations so that way there's no lines of being blurred and crossed, because I'm not cool with that shit. Like, please believe, you know, like, I understand why some people have it, those things,
Yeah.
but I'm really big on trying to figure out what is it that is the root of this decision? Is it based in fear or is it based in love? And if
Mm-hmm.
it's based in fear, let's get to what it is that you're fearful of, and let's kind of address it and see if there's another way we can do it, or if we need to kind of do it this way.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of communication, man. That's
Yeah,
why I
it
tell a lot
does.
of dudes, man, y'all ain't about this life. Y'all just trying to fuck.
Yeah, it takes a lot of communication, a lot of transparency, a lot of honesty. You know what I mean with everything. You know, and comprehend whatever's being said. Because a lot of people get listening and not hear shit.
Right, right. You know
But
what I
I'm
mean?
that way. You know what I mean? I'm focusing and listening. I have one more question. They're asking questions, and I'm about to pull them up. But I want to ask one more question. Has there ever been an issue, right? Because I know you said your part, your metamours, from your wife, she meets the metamours. Now, have there ever been like a time she's met someone, your wife, and she's told you like, "Hey, yo, I have a bad vibe" or anything like that, or you know?
Yeah, yeah. She's definitely met some, and you get a bad vibe, and that's one of the things that I appreciate. And I tell any of my partners, like, I want to be transparent with them because there are gonna be blind spots. We all have blind spots,
Yeah,
and there are gonna be
okay.
certain things that I may not see. So let me know if you sense something, what I mean, that may be a little bit off, or let me tell you about the scenario, and tell me how you think about it. Give me
Yeah,
your perspective, because I trust you enough, so that way, and doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to definitely go with what you say, but I want to be able to sit down and we have a real conversation, and you tell me what you're feeling, and you
yeah,
tell me what you're thinking, so that
yeah,
way we can be on the same page, and then that way I can make a better decision. I can make a unbiased decision at times, and
yeah,
that's important for me, man, because if I love you enough that you're a partner, you're in my life, then
yeah,
I should be able to trust you enough that whatever vibe you're getting from a person. But at the same time, again, like I said, I'm an empath. I also can tell if it's coming from some bullshit.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
No, cause
So
yeah, cause I wonder how that would be like. I always wonder because how to tell the difference if it was kind of out of jealousy or kind of like at the beginning was it ever anything said like that, like you could tell it was out of jealousy, kind of like, you know what I mean,
yeah, yeah. And so we
just
talked
there's a lot
about
to
it.
take in at the beginning, you know what I mean, like because we could all sit there and say we're ready for something, and then when it starts happening it's like, well, wait a fucking minute, well, wait a minute, like shit, wait a minute, now hold on, no, fuck all that.
Like, what the fuck?
What
We
the
ain't talking
fuck?
about all this
Now,
shit.
I feel this in my heart now. Like, so, was it crazy
Yeah,
like that at the beginning where you had to kind of?
absolutely. You know what I mean? Because just like I said, like you're saying, Alex, like you can talk about certain things till the fucking cows come home and think you have a contingency plan for the contingency plan for the motherfucking contingency plan, but then all of a sudden the shit become real and it hits you in the face and you're like, ooh, fuck. Like, all right. Like, I thought I was cool. I thought I was a G. But
Yeah.
I don't like this shit.
No.
And then you gotta be like, hold on, we had this conversation. All right, let's walk it back. What's going on? Let's talk about it. I mean, shit. Let me keep it real. Like, because even though we're talking about monopoly,
Yeah.
but even as a poly male, like I've had conversations with one of my parents and then she started dating, and you be like, yeah, yeah, I'm cool and shit. And then she be like, yeah, I'm about to go on a date. Hold on, where you going? What happened?
Making shit up. God damn, you're a woman. I gotta walk the dog, and so you want to do that? You foul. You. I feel
So
you.
yeah. So
I
so it doesn't matter who you are. You're gonna have emotions. They're gonna
bet.
come up. You gotta be real enough to be like, yo, let me touch into myself and figure out what it is that I'm feeling and that I need,
Yeah.
and
Most
voice that
definitely.
shit.
Most definitely. Huh, let me hit some questions real quick. Oh, this is a long one. It says, did
Okay.
you be, did you become poly while already with your wife? If so, what was the top reason for you as the man, and how did she feel at it intentionally? I do believe the last part
Great
is you cut
question.
out. Yeah.
All right. So I was poly before me and my wife got back together. So me and my wife have a whole little history. It's a lot to it. I can kind of go into it, but just for the sake of answering the question, she knew before we were married that I was polyamorous. Um, And so it's, even though she knew before, and I do think it may be a little more difficult if all of a sudden it's a switch. Regardless of what it is, it still takes community. It still takes talking it through and talking it out.
Yeah.
We had conversations prior to what this looked like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this shit I can speak to because I lived it. We had conversations. We talked about what it looks like, and then it starts doing a certain thing, and you're like, all right, we need to have another conversation about it because I didn't think I was gonna feel X, Y, Z.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, this, was going to happen. So, it wasn't a situation where, I cheated and then was like, yo, well, let's be non-monogamous or anything. Nah, it was, I knew for me that I am a person who loves, I can love multiple people. And I've
Yeah.
always been that type of person where I've had intimate relationships with people. And I don't want to be limited with the type of, with my intimate relationships. And I needed someone who's going to be secure enough to understand that whether it's me having an intimate relationship with a woman or me being in an intimate relationship with one of my homies that, is not sexual, but that's my brother. And if that motherfucker called me at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, we need to do something, then I'm going to motherfucking do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I needed somebody who's going to understand that, I ride for my people.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of the fact that, whether it's sexual or not, it's all in the same bucket of just being intimate with people, and having those connections.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, they're loading up with questions, fam. uh, someone asked, "What's monopoly?" Break it down because some people came in late. So
You
kind
came
of
in
break it
late.
down
So,
again for what's monopoly.
monopoly is just a relationship structure where you have a polyamorous person and you have a monogamous person. So the polyamorous person is dating other people and building intimate relationships with other people along with the person that they have a relationship that's also monogamous. And that monogamous person is only dating, married, or being intimately involved with that poly person. So that's
Yeah,
monopoly.
just on a touch up. And let's see, they're writing paragraphs for you, brother. I can't even look. I kind of like squint my eyes. What
So
happens? What happens to
then
the
that's,
person that he wants you to leave your wife? Oh, we already touched on that. You go
yeah.
back out. Yeah, we already touched on that.
Yeah, so no, we need to, I mean, we'll have a come to Jesus meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll have a come to Jesus meeting and understand that, this relationship is no longer a healthy relationship because you're not understanding, one, what polyamory is about. It's
Yeah.
not about leaving. It's about being able to and having multiple. So if
Mm-hmm.
I have to leave, to be with you, then you're not even understanding what this is about in the first place. And so you're not a healthy person for me to go ahead and build a relationship
The
with.
relationship with no, you're not something me for me. So
Exactly.
like, yeah. How long
Point
you been
period.
married? I
We've been
don't
married. We'll be married 3 years this year.
3 years.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yes sir, yes sir.
And we have a little girl. We have a daughter, and that adds more shit to it. You know what I mean? More things to consider. So it's definitely, it's a lot of work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
most definitely, most definitely. There's no right here. Why isn't the veto rule incorporated with your relationship?
Why does it need to be? So here's my thing. What? Why is it that someone feels the need to have power over a relationship that you're not involved in? So if I was friends, me and Alex are friends. Should my significant other have a veto rule to say I can't hang out with Alex anymore? Does that make sense? So when you're thinking about rules, boundaries, agreements, think about it a lot of times and start thinking about how would this sound if we take out lover and we put friend or we put best friend. So if I have a best friend and my best friend is Alex, and then I got a best friend that's Paul. Should Paul be like, hey, I don't like Alex. You need to kill that. What? Nah, he don't need to come to the cookouts. He don't need to he ain't come to the poker game. Nah, fuck that shit. Alex is dead. I don't like him. What? Well, you need to get over it. Cause I'm a fucking chill with Alex when I want to chill with Alex. And I'm gonna chill with you when I want to chill with you. Now, of
Exactly.
course, I wouldn't have that conversation with my my parents like that. It wouldn't go like that, like I would talk to a homeboy. But that's basically the same thing. You don't
Yeah.
you have to understand that if you're going to be, especially when it comes to polyamory, in this space, that it's not about controlling the other partner. It's
Facts.
about loving and trusting that other partner. And if you have insecurity issues, you're gonna
Don't
have to
project
figure
them.
out. Don't project those. You got to figure out how to work on your yourself. Work through
Facts.
it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yes, that's how I feel. That was one thing. I think even at the beginning when I did the interview with you, when you were interviewing us, that was our big thing. We were not with the hierarchy system. We were
Right.
not with that. I didn't want Chantel to feel like she was underneath or anything. Of course, there was kind of at the beginning. We're gonna have that walk because even if you were monogamous, you're not gonna instantly give yourself to the individual you're just getting to know and dating. So us
Right.
even dealing with Chantel at the beginning, of course, it's going to be like we're still kind of figure things out, tippy toe, just take it slow. But it ain't going to be
Mm-hmm.
that initial one person over the other. We're still going to have that kind of respectable ground. It's just what it is because we're building together. Our goal is to be together, live together, have a future together. So let's keep it together. So yeah, I was always against that. You know,
Allowing your partner to sleep around and you not. What? Okay. First and foremost, please
well,
understand polyamory isn't about sleeping around. So let me give people who are listening understanding the difference between polyamory and other forms of non-monogamy. If you're thinking about just the sex aspect, you're probably thinking about swinging or something of that nature. So you can swing, you can't swing and not have sex. Yet you can be polyamorous and no sex be involved. So I need people to understand that polyamory is not about sex. Yes, people do have sex in polyamorous relationships. Yet the thing about polyamory is about building intimate relationships with people. It is not about sex.
yeah,
So if your mind is thinking that this is all about sex and this is just about allowing you to sleep with some other person, you're not getting the deeper part of it. Because you can go and sleep with somebody else and not build an intimate relationship, not
man,
build a connection.
that part, right? Look, there's this triad, right? I love them. It's an all lesbian triad, and when I speak about them, a lot of people are like, I don't get it. I mean, they're all lesbians. They can all do what they want to do for each other and all that. I said exactly. You don't get it. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
they can do exactly sexually everything to each other, but that's not the reason they're all together with each other. I was like, once
Right.
you understand that union, then you'll understand it more better. Cause man, so I love it. I've been doing a couple of things with it because I love putting them out there because it's a visual for y'all. Yeah, they can do the
Yes.
same thing to each other. I mean, it's obvious we ain't stupid. You
Right.
got to see beyond that, and people just don't get it. So I love that. Here, look, there's so many questions coming at everything. We can all chill with Alex. Hey, yeah, hey, come chill with me every day, 7 o'clock. We getting together. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow because it's my birthday. We gonna do a couple of things.
Hey,
Yeah, we
I'm a
gonna
definitely
turn up. We
yeah,
gonna
I'm a
play a
definitely
couple of
tune in for that
games.
shit. I'm a damn sure have my crown with me.
Yeah, but yo, I'm gonna be taking shots. We're gonna be trying to give out some money. Chantel trying to shake ass, but she pregnant. She need to sit her ass somewhere. She keep playing, goddamn it. I tell you, man. How do you start? What up, in at the table?
That's a dope question.
How do you start seeking to be in a triad while having small children at the home? Yes, yes.
So, all right. So, I think the thing I would tell people is you got to kind of figure out what works for you and your partner first and foremost. Now, when you're saying seeking a triad, are you just talking about seeking a third person, or are you actively seeking someone that's going to be with you and your partner? And the reason I ask that question is if you're just looking to date for yourself, it's no different, I guess, than dating. Um, if you weren't already in a relationship, you
Yeah.
have to kind of talk to people. It's going to be a numbers game. And the thing I always tell polyamorous people or non-monogamous people, put your non-monogamy and your polyamory up front. Don't
Mm-hmm.
wait until you've gotten somebody. It's almost like a bait and switch where they're cool with you. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I got a wife at home and some kids.
I forgot to tell you. I didn't do that on tip on. I didn't
I ain't,
take that on
I ain't
you.
tell you that one. Oh, my bad. But
Hey, you said
yeah,
you
I'm
like
still cool
surprises. You said you like surprises.
though. You know what I mean? But if they responded back. But if you're talking about, meeting you for you and your partner, that's a little different, and that's a lot more complicated. And the reason I say it's complicated is just like what we were saying, we were talking about earlier. If you didn't hear, it's hard enough to find somebody that's going to like you. It's doubly difficult to find somebody that's going to like both of you. You have two different personalities. So just because someone may be bisexual, they may not be biromantic, and they might like the female and then not like the guy, or they like the guy and not like the female. But then, so you have to be open to allowing things to kind of just take place naturally. And that's my best advice to the people who are looking for a triad, or basically what we call a unicorn, is to allow it to take place naturally, because it is very difficult. Think about it. How many times have you liked, two people that are together? I mean, you've been attracted to two people that are together. You know what I mean? If you are bisexual, how many times does that happen? It's not that easy.
Not at all. Definitely
so
to get along, all that. It's
exactly. It's
individuals.
It's a lot.
So the best way is organic. I've always
organic.
Organic. You let it be the relationship be organic. It's going to last. If you try to force it, you can never force a circle into a square.
Don't force it. Just
try. It's just not going to work.
And what I would say is, before you start talking about romantic and intimate relationship, build a friendship first. Build that friendship first, and a lot of times, people can develop romantic feelings from that. Don't go rushing into, you need to be, be our plaything, because it's going to turn a lot of people off. Especially if you're talking about you're a heterosexual couple looking for a bisexual woman. Think about it. That may sound to her as if you want me to just be your plaything. So develop that friendship first. Genuinely try to get to know that person, and then if it clicks with both of you, perfect. If it doesn't, you've made a friend. Y'all can chat, y'all can chill, and then you can go on from there. But don't stress the relationship and the sex part until after you've made it. You've developed a friendship. So that's my advice. Don't be those couples out here hunting for unicorns, man.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, you might set yourself up for failure off from the get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just gonna be like that. Look, I try to show everybody and tell everybody it's not as easy as you think it is. We see something and think it's gonna happen naturally. I tell couples at the same time, when you find someone, you believe it yourself. You believe the relationships are going to develop the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
You put yourself in that position. The wife's going to, we're both going to be doing this. It's always going to be, and it's not. It's not.
No.
You might not bond over the same shit. The love might not meet each other on the same level. It's going to be different. It's going to take time. And in the same situation, you don't even take into perspective as the couple, you're going to relearn your partner. This person coming in is already going to know you guys for you guys being together. Right. You don't know your partner with somebody else unless you've done it before. So going through all that transition, it's going to be like you're at the beginning of a relationship. You basically kind of are relearning your partner. And then that's when the mind games are going to start. I don't know you anymore. Yeah, you do. I mean, shit, we agreed to this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So people just, someone said that NRE. Man, I had
NRE is real.
Yeah,
NRE is real.
Hey, look. I learned that yesterday. I've been bringing people on. We've been smashing. That's why I'm going to the ones that are the educators. You know what I mean? Because I'm still learning in this whole game myself. So that's why I'm kind of put. But yeah, that honeymoon stage, that new relationship energy. I love that word. We learned that. Someone taught that yesterday, and she had touched on it. And it's real. That shit is real. We fought for it at the beginning, but that shit is real. So hold on,
Alex. Night, boo.
The last girl I had with my boyfriend, we found out she was sleeping around. I said to get rid of her, and he was having a hard time until he finally got approved. Said we had to let her go. He brought her.
Okay. I think I understand what they're saying. So basically, her boyfriend brought in someone new to a relationship. She didn't really rock with her, I'm guessing. And she thought the other girl was, I guess, fucking with other people. The other girl was actually fucking with other people, and then they had to let him go. So here's another thing that I think is important that might not necessarily be in a mono poly relationship, but it's understanding, having those conversations. Even, well, you do have to have these conversations. Having these conversations of how it will look dating other people. So if you don't put it out up front that, this person is only dating, you or whatever, and even once you start putting restrictions out there, you can kind of hit some brick walls, and it may not necessarily be easy. But the main thing is, if that's a stipulation for you and your partner, then y'all need to be upfront and honest. But to understand that that's also going to make it harder for you because, again, that person that your boyfriend brought into the relationship, she may not like you like that, and she may not like him like that, or whatever, and she may need to be able to explore that elsewhere. Hopefully she has a safe space and y'all can talk about what her needs are and be aware of her needs as well, and kind of make sure that her needs are being met. And if her needs aren't being met in your dynamic, hopefully it's not just, okay, we need to end it because your needs are not being met here. Hopefully you guys are being flexible and trying to figure out how it can still operate. You know what I mean?
Facts. I got one more question. One more question. I know it's almost coming up to 50 right now. I got one more question for anybody, because sometimes I love how we touched on what you call it. You can't commit your partner to just be polyamory,
Right.
or just switch over. So anybody that really just wants to know head on what challenges to expect if they want to express that they're poly, they know their partner is not poly. What would be the biggest advice you could give for someone going to take that journey on and just going to come out? Because we're all right now. I believe a lot of people are coming to their truth, so they are
Yeah.
putting down the table. So what would be the advice you would give to someone that's going to take that leap? You know what I mean? Go ahead and just take that jump.
Well, first, like I said earlier, be true to yourself. That's the
Facts.
first thing, is be true to yourself, so that way you can then have that conversation with your partner, um, and be okay with it. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing weird. And again, that doesn't also mean that you need to convert them to be like you. You know, be who you are and be comfortable in your own skin, first and foremost. Secondly, I would say that, then open up the dialogue and have those conversations about what this may mean for your relationship, and give reassurance. You're going to have to do a lot of reassuring that, what, it's okay, we're okay, and this is not because I need, something outside of you or anything of that nature. That, you're not doing it because they're inadequate. You need to make sure you have those conversations, so that way, it doesn't fuel that fear.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have a fear of being abandoned. And if I think that you're wanting to open up a relationship because I'm not enough, and then you bring in somebody that you really like, then that's going to fuel that. Oh, now they really like that person, and they're going to just get rid of me.
Well, the security is
So
going to just rise.
exactly. So, it does take a lot of reassurance to, that this aren't doing this. uh, We're
Oh,
not
there you go.
doing this because of the simple fact that, you're not enough. So reassurance is one of those things, and just being patient. It's going to take a lot of time, a lot of communication. There's a book that I recommend all non-monogamous people to read. It's a workbook. It's called Building Open Relationships, and it's by Liz Powell. It's a
Almost definitely.
phenomenal book. I'm telling you. I know that. I mean, you guys might have talked about More Than Two, and The Ethical Slut. Those are great books, but Building Open Relationships is a great book because of the simple fact that it's like a workbook. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily like it's a story, but it gives you little nuggets and things to think on, and things to kind of consider when you're trying to figure out and set up and have these conversations with your partner. Whether especially if you're in a mono-poly relationship, because a lot of times this is going to be foreign to your mono partner.
Martin
Your mono
Parker,
partner
most
is going to be
definitely.
like, what the fuck?
Well, most
Um,
definitely.
so yeah, so definitely do that. But I definitely want to talk about. Somebody asked what's NRE. NRE is new relationship energy. So
Facts.
it's that butterflies, flighty, very, um, lovey-dovey, head in the clouds feeling that a lot of times you get when you first start relationships. And the thing about NRE that I want people to know, especially if you're in the mono-poly dynamic, is that you can use that NRE in your new relationship to fuel your existing relationship. You know what I mean? So take that new relationship energy and take those feelings you have and the things. Oh, I want to do this for that person. I want to do that, and then translate that to your current person as well. And
I
I
like
guarantee
that.
you,
I
it's
like
going to
that.
build on what you already have, and it's going
Yeah.
to reignite and reinvigorate that relationship that y'all have.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, it's going to almost like feel almost like it's new relationships on both planes. The things you used to love with your partner that you might have forgot you like to do, start doing
Yeah.
that shit again. You know what I mean? You sending like little notes and shit to your new person, send little
Get
notes and
shit
shit to
over
you
there.
over there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Oh, the new
No.
person want a little dick pic, send a dick pic to your other. I'm telling you,
Hey,
start
that's
doing those
facts.
things, and you'll be amazed at the love and the energy you flow back into your current relationship, and then that's going to help your current relationship as well.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, man. So new relationship energy isn't bad. I know a lot of people hear it and they're like, "Oh, if they feel so lovey-dovey over here, and then I'm just chopped liver." But it's important that if you do feel NRE, take that NRE and reinvest it in your current relationship.
Man.
It's like emotional
Yo.
capital.
That's fat. I love that knowledge right there. Boy, you done dropped some jewels right there on the people, boy. Yo, let them know what they can get at you. Also, let them know about the podcast when it's coming back and a little bit about that and about your sex, the sex toys and everything where they can go ahead and get some.
So the podcast is called Lust, Lies, and Libido. Lust, Lies, and Libido. You can find it on any podcast, wherever you get your podcast. So we'll start season 2. We're actually recording episodes now. We actually need to get you guys back on here too. But we'll start season 2. We're going to start rolling that out. And then also the website is bellsboxes.com. That's going to be up and running. We had to take it down with the whole COVID situation because that was messing up. The distribution channels were kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But with that, we sell sex toys, lingerie, all the different types of those things. And and like I said, we're a black-owned company, so definitely support your black businesses, support your small black businesses.
Facts.
And then that's pretty much it. And then, like I said, once I get licensed as a therapist, I'll be helping people in that arena as well. I'll be helping people, especially my non-monogamous people, because
Most definitely.
there just not a lot of people of color in this space already, and it's hard to find therapists that understand non-monogamy and don't have that monogamous biases. Also going to it. The website is Bells, so it's BELLES boxes.com.
Make sure to send me all that info too, so when I put the videos up, I can tag all that information so everybody knows where to go and get it. So
Definitely
you know
will
what I
do.
mean? Yeah, I'm gonna put it on YouTube and everything. Cause everybody's been coming to these and just educating themselves. The ones that miss it, they always send me the DM. Hey, is the video up yet? I want to watch it. So most definitely, I do appreciate you coming on, Chad. One of the
Hey,
first ones out
absolutely,
of
brother.
y'all's gonna get at.
Hey, absolutely. Like I said, I've always appreciate you guys, man. Love y'all energy. Love what y'all do for the community. Like I said, whenever this whole shit pop off and we get to traveling again, we definitely gotta link up.
Oh,
I
most
need to come back
definitely.
to Texas anyway.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but yeah, definitely. If y'all ever in the Charlotte area, man, y'all know just swing by. We'll. Are y'all vegan? I can't remember. I think y'all. Aren't
No,
y'all
we're
like?
not vegan, but I'll try anything. I eat, goddamn it. It don't
No,
matter
no,
what
I'm
it
not
is.
vegan. I was just trying to make sure because I was like,
Oh
I can go
shit,
ahead and throw a
no.
brisket on or something. You know what I
I'm a man. I'm not vegan.
mean? Hey, that's dope. Poly try love. That is dope. We need more therapists that understand how to relate to
Yeah,
non-monogamous folks. And if I
most
can
definitely.
find more therapists that also relate to kinky people, because this is it's not easy. Um, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I thank you, Trip, for coming on here. Let us know when you want us on there. You know what I mean? We'll mostly we will be right there on the podcast again. We need to come back and have that round 2.
Absolutely, brother.
Thank you, my
Absolutely.
brother. Thank you for coming on and educating the people. And
Absolutely,
send me that
fam.
info too.
I got you.
All right, you have a good one.
You too.